already a chill on investment. We've talked to our members across Canada. People are holding off on investments, holding off on hiring, waiting to see what the new administration will do. So we expect the government will respond, and I think we'll have to respond in a way that gets the attention of the Americans to say, look, our trading relationship is important because Canada really can't sustain a long-term sort of trade war with our biggest customer and our biggest supplier.
Ultimately, what would you like to see? What do you think will get the attention of the Americans if these tariffs do get imposed?
There's, I don't know, the tariff thing.
The data will speak for itself.
That's going to cost people a lot of money.
Canada sells
and that.
mostly parts and ingredients and components into the U.S., into our North American, supply chain. So what will happen is you'll start to see some inflation at the consumer level in the U.S. relatively quickly because Canada is pivotal to many industries. But on the Canadian side, there's a potential for us to see some downturn at our end. So I think the government needs to, first of all, underscore that and say this is not good for either country, and look at those goods, that come into Canada, not intermediate goods like parts, because if we start taxing U.S.-based parts,
I need a
into the supply chain,
after that for sure.
That inflation and that cost increase. So it needs to be on goods that are important to the U.S. because remember, Canada is the number one customer.
And just listening to this
states, so
makes me need a
who where it would really matter.
We've seen the premiers come together a lot on this, not just amongst themselves, but also meeting with the federal counterparts. But we've also seen a bit of a divide on how the premiers think we should react, we should retaliate. How important is it for all the premiers and the federal government to come together with one voice to push back against the tariffs?
Well, I think it's always important for Canada to have a single voice to say we're all aligned because, really, it's not one province or another. In most categories of industrial products we make,
we're paying our asses in taxes and tariffs already. So
half of all our output. So there's no way to pick a winner or loser across the country. Everyone loses.
We don't need any more fucking tariffs, if you ask me.
Senator, CEO and President of the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters, as you mentioned, extremely busy time as, of course, Donald Trump officially takes office on Monday, and that is when he has threatened these tariffs might be imposed. Dennis, thanks so much for your time.
Good afternoon.
The U.S. presidential inauguration, as we mentioned, is set for Monday, but it'll now be moved indoors. In a social media post, Trump referred to the Arctic blast that's expected to hit Washington, D.C. He says it could take temperatures into severe record lows and doesn't want to see people hurt or injured in any way. The ceremony instead will take place inside the Capitol Rotunda. Let's bring in Eric Ham, CTV News political analyst. Eric, thanks so much for your time. So this is my first question. How is this change in venue being received in Washington? And secondly, what could
I guess moving that inside would be would be safer. That's true.
Spectacle in terms of what takes place, and also we have to remember this is not the first time that an inauguration has actually been moved from outside the Capitol to inside. In fact, going back to Ronald Reagan, his inauguration also took place inside. So while it certainly is going to limit the number of people that we might see at the Capitol as well.
Enough of that. And see you next video. Peace.
In Washington, D.C.